Morning, everybody. It's 8:12 a.m. It's March 12th. Welcome to my channel. We had a quiet day in the market yesterday, being that CPIs today. Finally got a little quiet day, small range for today's data that's coming out at 8:30, and we'll look at that live when it happens. Okay. Without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and volume profile to find structure in the market, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, anchor VWAPs, and the most traded price of the year, the rolling month, the rolling week, and the preceding day, all to help me find structure in the market. And want to be on the side that's in control. And then basically, when all of them line up, that helps me take a trade. So that's kind of my methodology. And that's really how I look at the market. Kind of helped me out. Been doing that for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or something like that, using market profile and volume profile. If you like my content, please give me a like. All right, and you can always follow me on X. That's at Gonzo719. All right, let's get right into the futures watch list right now, and let's see what's going on there. We got the Nasdaq leading, up zero point 0.4, even before CPI. 30-year bonds being bought, up 0.28. ES up 0.22. Russell up 0.14. Crude, crude. That must have just got bought up a little bit because that was down earlier. That's up 0.08. The Dow is pretty much flat. You see it at 0%. 0.08. Oh, what the hell am I looking at here? Oh, it's flat. 10-year yield reports at zero. The dollar's flat ahead of the CPI. Bitcoin's down 0.3. Silver's down 0.3. Gold's pulling back a little bit, down 0.49. The VIX is down 0.85. Ether is down 1.04%. All right, let's go to Mag 7 Plus. BABA is up 2.12%. Coin got an upgrade, it's up 1.92%. That's spinning on the tear. Nvidia up 1.41. Oracle had earnings. They had B earnings, and they mentioned they're going to be using Nvidia chips. So, surprise, surprise, Nvidia's back up. Meta's up, AMD's up, Tesla, Laggard, Boeing. Woo. Boeing has some controversial whistleblower that was found dead. Um, and then they also failed some kind of audit. Just not looking good for the stock right now. Roblox down 2.47%. All right, that's what we got going on there. Let's move over to top sector stocks. Who's the leader? Qualcomm up 0.91, followed by Eli Lilly 0.36. Disney, laggard. There really isn't one. Cat and United Healthcare not really lagging that much. Okay, if we go to my swing trade list, couple Oracle. There's the earnings, right? 3M up 4.26. MicroStrategies up again. ADM reported earnings. They beat SoundHound, Taiwan Semiconductors, Carvana, Adobe. Now Adobe's reporting when 314. They report a couple days. Let's see who's the laggards. All right. I forget how you say this, but I'm just gonna say the ticker ONON. They didn't have great earnings, so they are down 12.455%. Southwest Airlines down 7.4%. American Airlines down 3.75%. Is this possible because of Boeing? Southwest sees leisure travel weakness. Okay. Mara's taken a pretty serious pullback as of late. All right, and that's really it for those stocks. We'll go back to top sector stocks and look at the sectors. Sectors, surprise, surprise, up 1%. Semiconductors, technology 0.67, communications 0.18, discretionary, right? All the big ones, and no laggard really. I mean energy, but really no laggard. Okay, let's get into economic calendar and the news. Okay, let's do that. I mean, we can look at this too. These are just upgrades, downgrades. We got upgrades. Who we got here? Coin, Carvana, Dollar General, upgrades, right? Southwest. Interesting, got an upgrade and it's down, right? Because of weakness. Then downgrades, nothing to note here. Coverage initiated, nothing to note there. All right, let's look at the calendar today. All right, this is what we're looking at today. Okay, so we have core inflation year over year, expecting 3.8, previous 3.9. So we're expecting core inflation to go down. Okay, now the headline number, expecting 3.2, previous 3.1. So they're expecting headline to rise. Okay, so basically the gist of how this works, if this number is hotter, the market should go down. If it's cooler, the market should go up. That's basically how you got to look at that, okay? We do have a 10-year bond auction at 1 o'clock, okay? You have that. That's pretty much sums up today. We will look at that live when it drops at 8:30, okay? Just trying to see if I can pull any other news up here. Let's see here. I'm just want to. Maybe we can see why some of these stocks are moving. I don't really see. Sorry about that. Just looking at these. Okay. That's there. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's see if there's a morning call. Nope. Let's look at the juice. Really not much going on here. Really not much. We're just waiting for CPI basically. Okay. We'll just get right into the daily charts. I already talked about the earnings today. Let's do that. Let's go right onto the daily charts. Let's just see how we're doing here. Let me just change this real quick. All right, let's look at our good old SPY. That channel's intact, right? Let's just zoom in a little bit here. All right, so we know what we did Friday, came up here, right? Then yesterday, we pulled down a little bit, right? It might have looked a little worrisome for a little bit, but then, you know, it found support here at this candle's low. And what did we do? We closed above last month's highs. Okay. Little hammer candle. All right. So where we at now? 512.60, 512.60. We're gapping up today. Gapping up before CPI. Okay. So today, where can we go? 518. Last week's highs. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm not sorry. That is last week's highs. Okay. Or we got here 505. So I really think that's the possible we can go. Now you can see here I have an expected move. So the expected move today is $5. So $5 from the close. So that gives you like 516 to 505, around 505, 506. Okay, so that's the expected move for today. About 70% of the time, that's correct. So it's pretty good things to keep in mind when you look at expected moves. Okay, let's look at the Qs. So the Qs, what do we do? The Qs was weaker. Okay, they pulled back all the way to the 20-day simple moving average and then got bought from there. Little doji candle, right? You kind of like a high was put in by the low, filled the gap from Friday. Okay, broke bullish trend line actually. All right, so where are we at now? 439.50, 439.50, 439.50. So we're gapping up too in the Qs before the CPI comes out. All right, but you're in the middle of a mess here. All right, there's a lot of trading that's been going on in this area. So really have to see what we do. Expected move today is $5.49. You can see it here. So that brings us to, let's say, 452. Wait a minute, is that right? 442. So up there to 432. So that's the expected move for today. All right, so now let's go to the bond market, our triple-headed monster, and see what the 10-year yield is doing. It's pulled back as of late. Okay, so pull back to here. Now we're just kind of going sideways. This should definitely move the 10-year yield today. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, now VIX was over 15 yesterday. It's still at 15. So there is a little more fear in this market right now. Okay, and the dollar, especially with the gold taking off, it's pulled back. Now it's kind of always doing something similar to the 10-year yield. Okay, so that's what's been going on there. Let's see what the RSP looks like. That's the equal weighted index, just to see what that's doing. Okay, that's in that channel as well. So that's big base here. Jeez, an RSP and broke out, right? So usually that looks very similar to the IWM. Yeah, not the same exact, but it usually tracks IWM pretty good. Because IWM doesn't really have a market weighted index. It's really like 2,000 stocks, and it's like they're all equal shares. So anyway, in 5 minutes we're going to get into CPI. All right, so why don't we go to market profile and see what's going on there in the market profile land. I really just changed that. Ugh. All right, let's go to market profile. Okay. And the 10-year yield, by the way, is down 0.32 right now. All right, so we're not going to go crazy with this because this is going to change. So the profile, that's kind of balanced, right? Now in the ES, what do we have now? Right, we have ultimate balance pretty much with the most traded price of the week and the month being right here. That's queuing up for a big move. Okay, right in time for CPI. So the most agreed price I would say around 51.70 for the last month in the week. Okay, so that just means that people have initiated trades here, and there's going to be pain this way or this way. And it always seems to happen pretty much when CPI comes around, where we finally settle down into the most agreed price, and then we move from there. Right? Those act as magnets. So you can see this yesterday's range, overnight low, overnight high, and the price is here. So we're gapping up. And of course, when this news drops, we're going to see some serious movement. So we're gapping up. So there's supply up here, and there's also the most another very big node here, 52.20 around. That's also been a heavily traded price in the last week. So Just be curious to see what we're going to do. But there should be a big move. Now, there's large orders hitting the tape right now. Let's see here. I could even pull up on my time of sales. Oh, you know what? Let's go over to... I'm going to bring you over to an hourly chart. All right. Let's look at those times of sales. Let's see here. You can see why I get those alarms. See those big block alerts? Those are 100 lot trades in ES that just got bought right now. 100 lots at 51.98. See, those are big orders hitting the tape right now before the news even comes out. Now you'll probably hear that go crazy, that alarm go off when the CPI number gets dropped. So let's go over to the hourly charts because we'll just look at the ES right now. Let's do that. So this is hourly chart. And we'll watch when this news drops. And you can see that channel in the futures as well that I have mapped on there. And we'll just make this big for everybody to see it here. Now these supply zones and demand, this should probably going to get blown away before this news drops. Let's have the news up here so we can wait for when that comes in. And we have about 50 seconds, less than 50 seconds now for this number to drop. And look, you're just coiled up right here. We're just in this little range waiting for this number to drop. Like I said, we're expecting 0.1 over. Okay, another large order hitting tape. That might have been, that actually might have been, that was the NASDAQ, I think. Yeah, okay. Well, let's see here. And I rolled my contract over to the next contract in the futures. It's going to be quad witching on Friday, so more volumes in the next contract. So that's, I'm in that new contract. So let's see. We got right now it's dropping. Boom. All right, first move's down. First move is down. Okay, let's see. Core inflation year over year. Forecast at 3.8, came in at 3.8. Let's look at that together. Okay, so core inflation year over year 3.8, came in at 3.8. Now the headline inflation, that's the big number here. Forecast at 3.2, came in at 3.2. So it came in as expected, but it has risen 0.1. Okay. Core inflation came in line and actually went down 0.1. This to me, honestly, is a nothing burger. Core inflation month over month, let's see what that did. That rose 0.1. So honestly, it's a nothing burger. Okay, core inflation went down 0.1 year over year. Headline inflation went up 0.1 year over year. I don't see anything to note there. Okay, we just have to. We'll look at this for a little bit and just see. This demand zone obviously is no longer needed. Notice where we came down. Right. This is the most traded price of the week here. We came right down, tested that, and most traded price of yesterday. So if when everything's a nothing burger, like I just said, most likely it's going to be bullish. So this was not right now. It's not much of a catalyst. And right now we're at yesterday's highs. So the gap has been right now. There is no gap, but it's early. It's very early. We still have like an hour until open. Yeah, see, there's not much shock in these numbers. We can look in on the Another large order. Let's see. That was the Nasdaq. That was actually a sell order. All right. Now we're starting to move up. See, nothing burgers more likely going to use the bullish tone of the market. Here we go, getting some buys. Most likely going to kill this supply zone. Like I said, it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be in the next probably 15-20 minutes. These numbers are not gonna matter much. We're going right back to this range. All right, I think I'm gonna switch us over to my other page of the market profile and just see, because I don't feel like this is much impact. Wow, that just pushed up, huh? Am I seeing things right? Let's just see how this is still a little volatile. So here's the yesterday's highs and lows, overnight highs and lows. Price is right here. So still got a little jumpiness. So you got a gap. Of course, if we open up, you can gap and go. You can fail to fill the gap and go. You can fill the gap and go. Or if you come back into range, then it's like back to balance. Okay? But like this mark is kind of bullish. So if it's a nothing burger number, that's pretty much cool. What's transpiring right now. There's like not a lot of edge right now I'm seeing in the way this is set up. Okay, because you have a demand zone here and you have these major levels here. Okay, so this could act as support for the market. This is your line in the sand around 5170. Okay, I would say around 5178 to 5166. This is your area. Okay, you're over monthly VWAP now. You're over the week to date VWAP now. Buyers are in control of the month again, pushing up into supply. So now we're pushing up. Like I said, I felt like this would be bullish, right? So now we're getting more and more steam ahead for the bulls. Remember, we pulled back to the 20-day simple moving average in the Qs. So there's your extension. Now remember, you can see here the most traded price of the week for the 24-hour is here. So we could even stop here, right? But we're in supply, so we're getting some selling now. We just have to see. Like I said, this is the midpoint here also of that big move down. So I'm just trying to gauge, like, I'm just not a fan of a big gap like that. And there's not much to lean into. I mean, you do have supply, right? We're pushing higher. So here's the line in the sand. That's what you need to defend for the bulls, okay? So if we were going to talk about some scenarios, if this is what I want to defend, right? This area. I would think if we came back and we filled this gap, notice the monthly VWAP's right at the gap fill. That could be a possible long. Okay. And then this could be a possible bear trap. If we did test this area and we couldn't find acceptance and we kind of pushed out of here, that's also. Okay, that's what I can see for today. As far as bearish, we're in supply. Okay, if we can't get out of here, we could definitely rotate back, fill the gap, and then settle on to this balance area. Of course, if we find acceptance below that, we could fall. That's really what I'm seeing in the ES right now. And again, this could change because we're coming off that news. Okay. Now the Nasdaq has a very similar setup structurally. Okay, if we look at the Nasdaq, let's get this out of the way. Let's move this down. All right, so here's our profile. Most traded price of the 24 hours is up here, right? But if you notice, the most traded price of the week and the month are together again. Price is right here over that area. Okay, we're gapping up. Here's yesterday's highs, here's yesterday's lows, here's price, here's the overnight high and overnight low. We did just come into a supply zone. Okay, but again, this area 18, what is this? 18,262 is the most traded price of the year. Okay, that's the new price because I rolled my contract. So 18,262. That is the most traded price of the month and the year. That is the price that the Nasdaq has to defend. And we also have the most traded price of the week here. So we're in ultimate balance. Okay, so we should get a good move, a big move out of this. Now this is kind of looking nicer, a little bit as a setup because this RTH highs was right inside this most traded price. So if the market comes back and pulls back into this yesterday's highs to fill the gap, you have this big level to defend against. So all right, so sorry about that. I had to talk to my daughter about something. So yeah, this big level is really important, and you got a demand zone right here. Okay, now this obviously blew out a supply zone, so let's get rid of that. And you got monthly VWAPs here. So look at the difference here, and that's one important thing to note. Monthly VWAP is red. Sellers are in control this month still in the Nasdaq, but not in the ES. Okay, not in the ES. So if we look at this, okay, here's the overnight high. Price is going right up to the highs right now. This is yesterday's high and yesterday's low. Okay, so this overnight low, oof, if we come back through here, that could be bad. However, you just have to hold above this area, and then I believe the market could move higher. Okay. So if we want to talk about some scenarios here, this is your area, okay, to defend for the bulls. So anything pullback, and right here is the nice one. If you fill that gap and you cannot find acceptance underneath this huge level, the most traded price of the year and the month, and you start finding acceptance above it, we're going to eventually come up, probably hit that monthly VWAP, maybe take out the supply, maybe even take out these single prints and go right up here. That's what I'm going to be watching. Okay. Now, as far as the bearish play, we are in supply. You do have monthly VWAP here, so this could be a case where you try to go up, find some selling. There's the inverse of what I just showed you. Of if you're a seller, you look to fill that gap and this big level here. That could be it. But if you take this out and you start to find acceptance below here, that means we can now test these lows and possibly test this gap down here. That's really it. I have those two big levels in the Nasdaq and the ES, and I'm just going to have to sit back and see what happens. Okay? That's really it, what I'm looking at today. And that will be it. All right? Hope everybody understands what we're doing here. Okay? I know it can look like gibberish, the Monka profile. It did to me at first as well. I'd be like, what am I looking at? This is not a candle. This is not a, but it's just so nice to look at it now. It just makes everything look so much easier because you have more information to look at. You're not just looking at a candle. Okay? So, hopefully you enjoyed this and give me a thumbs up if you did. Okay? That would be much appreciated. And you can follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay? Now, we have our plan. All right, we got our plan. Gonna be patient. Am I in love with this? No. Not in love? No. Big gaps are not easy to trade, so you really got to be patient. Gap and goes, I really don't like. So why I don't like them is the reward to risk, the risk to reward. It doesn't make sense. Where do you lay your risk against? It's kind of hard to do that. So that's why I like a pullback. So anyway, I wish everybody luck today. Stay green. Sitting on your hands is a trade. Cash is a trade. So remember that. And I always got to tell myself that. So everybody have a great day. And I'll see everyone tomorrow morning.